Hello members of the community and students and staff of the university.
We are interns for the Institute on Race and Ethnicity.
I am Trevor Collins.
And I am Tia Woods.
This July marks the second anniversary of the Institute, so we want to give you a quick reminder of what happened this past year and what's to come for the future.
The Institute was launched in 2011 with the mission to seek racial and ethnic justice in Arkansas. We do this by remembering and understanding the past, informing and engaging the present, and shaping and defining the future.
And speaking of the past, last year, the Institute sponsored several campus community events and projects. They were designed to raise awareness and promote unity.
We celebrated the efforts of the Little Rock Nine in last year's Civil Rights Heritage Commemoration. Activist Dr. Angela White Davis gave an intriguing lecture at UALR about the consequences of mass incarceration. And we also tackled the issues within the criminal justice system at the 10th Annual Racial Attitudes Conference.
So take a look.
We may be old and jaded, but there are new generations coming along who need this story for their survival. We have unparalleled bullying, and I'm sure kids come up to you all the time, and they do to me. I'm bullied. This was a story about bullying extraordinaire. This is a story that can transform our young people. Now,
of mass incarceration reproduces so many of the problems that it pretends to solve. So many of the social problems that are responsible for people being in situations where they do get arrested and convicted and sentenced and imprisoned. So many of those problems continue to be reproduced by the very process of imprisonment. You look at people who are behind bars and they're disproportionately illiterate. That is to say, they have not had the opportunity to get an education. And instead of thinking, oh, this may have something to do with the fact that there's so many people behind bars today. Why don't we begin a long-range problem-solving process in which we remake our educational system in this country? We say education, not incarceration.
But at the same time, in 2013, 1/3 of African Americans report experiencing some form of discrimination in our community. We still have a great deal of work to do. You also have no doubt heard from some in recent weeks that race is no longer a problem for Arkansas, that race should not matter when dealing with major issues like public schools, criminal justice, or voter participation.
That day, we are, all of us, one people. Our racial category is human. We are all made in the image of God, and we ought to treat each other accordingly. But too often we don't. However, leaders can make a better future come sooner. You have to face it to fix it.
It's easy when somebody looks different than you, speaks a different language than you, has different clothes than what you're used to, whatever it may be, to dehumanize or see that criminal accused as somebody less than you or that's not human. And therefore it's easier to give them not as good of a plea deal. Or it's okay to say, well, they're just going to get deported, let's deport them. Not considering their families and their established contacts here in the communities. We see this a lot, and I haven't thought of it that way, but it's really true. In West Arkansas, where we've done a lot of work, some of these communities, Tweed, for example, Nashville, tremendously big Mexican communities now growing. And so the long-standing community, the members of the community before this new population movement came in, I'm not going to say there's good people everywhere, but there is a sense of these people are less than. They're not, it's definitely not a sense they're equals to me. And so I think if you can train or have some of these, having these discussions, make that conscious that we all are players in this system. And even though justice is the #1 goal, but when we're trying to execute justice, treating everybody equal because we're all humans would be an outstanding first step. And I don't think there's a lot of that here.
This year, the Institute awarded over $23,000 in grants to fund 6 research projects. The projects are aimed at eliminating and reducing racial and ethnic disparities in Arkansas communities. These selected projects will help address topics in the areas of criminal justice, community outreach, immigration, and higher education. They will provide data that will aid the Institute in implementing programs and initiatives for the future.
Thanks to the expanded internship program at the Institute, 4 students, including myself and Trevor, began work on digital and research projects. Some of the projects we are working on include an oral history project, as well as a civil rights heritage website. The website is supported in part by a grant from the Arkansas Humanities Council and the National Endowment for the Humanities.
So what's next, Tia?
Well, Trevor, in August we will welcome new Institute Director Dr. Michael R. Twyman, just in time for the 3rd Annual Civil Rights Heritage Commemoration. During our annual commemoration, we add new honorees to the Arkansas Civil Rights Heritage Trail in downtown Little Rock. The trail is a historic reminder about the rich and important civil rights legacy in Arkansas.
We are also partnering with the Little Rock Chamber of Commerce for this year's Civil Rights Commemoration. We will be celebrating the anniversary of the 1963 desegregation of downtown Little Rock businesses. 50 years ago, a group of business leaders and Philander Smith College students spearheaded this movement. It led to a peaceful integration of downtown businesses. So save the date on your calendars, Saturday, September 14th, for this event you don't want to miss.
To volunteer or partner with us, please contact us on our website at ualr.edu/race-ethnicity.
Then be sure to find us on Facebook and follow our Twitter.
Thank you for watching.